Well, as the weekend has come to a close, that doesn't end here. However, due to some circumstances, I decided to keep this shorter for everyone. So we're going to be focusing on the latest ChocoPro show with 336 with three matches taking place. And of course, we jump ahead with the beginning and the start of the annual tournament by Stardom, the Goddesses of Stardom Tag League. So I'll explain a little more about that. So we will see other matches as well, special matches, due to the fact that certain changes happen because of the certain individuals who were not present at the time. So we'll get to that as well. Also, we have a very short news updates that tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of daily reviews on pro wrestling from anywhere in the world. Not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where wrestling is not as big, but it is growing as it is supposed to be. We also do some discussion videos, news updates, various other things on this channel. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us on the subscribe button, or if you like this episode, give us a like on the like button or nice comment down below. So let's begin with our very first review, and this is from Choco Pro. So we got number 336 with three interesting matches taking place. This is just recently took place on the 14th of October. Our opening match, we have a three-way match. Um, First, we have Sayaka Obihiro versus Dr. Gore, all the way from Thailand, and then, of course, versus Masahiro Takanashi. Now, this is a very delicate match because, as you know, mostly when I see matches like this, sometimes anything could happen. Now, the honest opinion is, when I saw this match, I was thinking Masa may find a way to try to be slick as possible to win this match. But no, it did not go exactly like I thought. The one person who I did not think that would possibly win was in fact Dr. Gore. I wasn't too sure exactly what he was going to do, but he was able to isolate Masahiro Takanashi in order to take out who I think he must have thought Sayako Behiro was the weakest link and put her in a pinfall. One, two, three, it was over just like that. Now, our next match, we have tag team action. We got Sayaka teaming up with Tokiko Kihara. Now, the last time I seen these two team up was in a trios match, but it was very successful. But as a duo, that's something I haven't seen yet. But of course, Tokiko and Sayaka are part of the fourth generation girls in Got to Move. But I like to see how they would do together. However, their opponents is a very interesting odd pairing, but also a makeshift pairing. We have the newcomer Nonoka Seto teaming with Chon Chidu. Now, you probably can get one asking yourself, this factor of this match is going to fall in favor of Sayaka and Tokiko due to the fact that Nonoka Seto is still a young, inexperienced wrestler, but much like her sister, Miya, who we have seen grown so much over a year now, in no time, we know that Noka will gain the necessary experience to get her first win. But I knew that this was going to fall in favor of Sayaka and Tokiko from the very beginning, because Seto is the least experienced. So they were able to isolate Chonchiru in order for them to target Nonoka. But it was, of course, Tokiko with the Cobra twist onto Nono Kaseto, forcing her to tap out. And it was just over just like that. Now, our next match, we had a very interesting pairing. Miya Yatsuba teaming up with Balin Aki. They take on Chiko Shikawa and Kairi Yoyanama. However, tension has grown in this particular match. Kairi Yoyanama will be teaming with Hagane Shino to take on the Best Bros, Balin Aki and Mace Suga, for the Asian Dream Tag Team titles. These titles became vacant when Chon Shiru announced that Shin Suzuki got injured, and of course, we just recently, as you know, that's what happened. So we don't know when he'll be back. We know that he made a nasty fall that injured himself, so that was the real case. However, there will be crowning. We know that the Best Bros, since losing the titles, have lost their momentum as a tag team, and they also focus themselves as individuals in the process. So, since Mei Shrigo was not involved in this show, um, Balin team up with her student Miya Yasuba. I'm sure Balin can trust her, but of course the tensions between Balinaki and Coyote Yonoyama was taking a toll. However, I figured that this was going to be a very straight up message to both teams, because in the end we did see Coyote Yonoyama applied her infamous O'Connor roll onto Mia to pick up the win. So basically, you could see that this is going to be a match where, of course, Yonoyama and Hagane will be the ones to become tag champions. But however, Best Bros would stop at nothing to prove otherwise. So that's how it is. Now for our Jonkin tournament, Balanaki was able to proceed further, but however, he did not. But the one person that was able to pick it up was none other than Sayaka Obihiro. She may not have won her match in the three-way, but she was able to win the piece of chocolate. So that's how we end things with ChocoPro. But let's move on with our final review, Stardom. Okay, Stardom, the Goddesses of Stardom Tag League. Now, if you're new to the channel, don't know what this is, let's break it down to you. This is an annual tournament where tag teams are involved. So basically, this happens every year. Takes like maybe a month or so, unlike what we see with the 5-star Grand Prix that takes up maybe a month and a half or possibly 2 months, depending on how far they how much the amount of wrestlers they have. So we have two blocks on this one: the goddesses, the red goddesses, and the blue goddesses. Now I didn't mention the names, but we will get to that at some point. Now, our very first opening match in this is a non goddesses match, tournament match. We have DDM consistent of Tekla and Mai Sakurai, where they take on Miyu Amasaki and Mirai. Now, this was a very interesting matchup that was put upon. Now, Miyu Amasaki was originally supposed to team up with Azumi. Together, they're known as O2 Line as a tag team, but due to precautions over an injury towards Azumi, she was supposed to miss out the weekend, so that's why this makeshift happened. But Mirai, on the other hand, was scheduled is teaming up with Mai Sakurai, since those two are in fact old friends. If you guys follow the history of DDM, as you know, 2022 started with the bang for DDM when they introduced new members, Tekla and Mirai, and then Mai Sakurai, who eventually turned on betrayed the Cosmic Angels, sided with them. But there was a bit of a fondness between both Mai Sakurai and Mirai, so that kind of played out in a way. But Tekla, we know her tag team partner is none other than Julia. But unfortunately, Julia will be in a match in a little bit later. But this was a very good, interesting. I have noticed that Sakurai has changed her gear, which is a little more different. But however, I figured that this was going to go to the EDM due to the fact because, as I mentioned before, Mirai was scheduled to team with Sakurai Mai, but it's not. But that's until a later time. Miya Masaki's tag partner is out for a while, precautions to an injury. but it was Sakurai that picked up the win by a pinfall. But we will see how Sakurai and Mirai will function as a tag team when their match taking place. Now, for the record, there is certain wrestlers that are not there, but we'll get to that at some other point. Now, our next match. This is a non-title match. This is a feud between two people that knew each other from the past. Michiko, as you guys know her from Glee, but in the time she was known as Andras, there's a bit of a rivalry between both her and Julia. It dates back when Julia first came to Stardom. Now, according to what Julia said, she was the one who eventually exiled her. So basically, of course, Michiko has not forgotten what she did to her. So basically, this is not about the belt. This is not about anything. It's about getting revenge for what just happened. Of course, Michiko was going to use dirty tactics in order to beat her. I mean, use plunder that's under the ring, like chairs and stuff. Of course, Julia has to dig a more deeper. But it was Julia that walked out with the win with the Northern Light bombs. And of course, she believes that this is the last time they ever confront each other. But knowing Michiko, I don't think this is over by a long shot, even if she thinks it's over. And besides, she never did challenge for her belt at all. So that's the thing. This has nothing to do with the belt. Now, as soon as those two matches were done, we did proceed with the ceremony with introducing each of the teams. Of course, we saw Saki Kashima and Sudi will be in one team. I think they're in the blue stars or red stars. Yeah, in the red stars. We did see Moonlight Venus, consistent of Mina and Waka. They're part of the red stars, I believe. So we got plenty teams. But however, the ceremony ended with, of course, out of nowhere, with prominence, who are prominence consistent of Risa Sera and Kurumi Hagere, who decided to attack Crazy Stars, consistent of former member of prominence Zuzu Suzuki and her tag partner Mei Sita. Now, of course, Risa Sera, if you guys remember, during Dream Tag Festival, prominence attacked Zuzu and Julia. Of course, Risa Sera was like, let's just say, she has been not happy with how Zuzu has been. Now, she was getting along with Julia, and I think that bothered her a little bit, because I think Farisa Sarah's like, did you forget what this woman did to you? She abandoned you and put you in so much trouble. So I think that's what it was all about. But of course, Risa Sarah would do whatever it takes to pick up the win. But luckily, Zuzu, no matter how much power that what's her name? Hirage will try to put her down. It did not stop her. Even Mei Sera was using her speed as possible to get away from Risa Sera, but at the same time tried to break up the 3 count as much as possible. But unfortunately, because of the situation, this match ended in a time limit draw. So that means that, of course, each team gets 2 points. And I'm sure this is a very dissatisfying match for both teams, which is expected. But we know that somehow down the line, maybe we'll see those two run into each other. We don't know. But we'll do this. So this is part of the Red Goddesses. So now our next match also involves in the Red Goddesses block. We have Maximum Mini, consistent of Hanako and Saya Ida. A very interesting pairing. I mean, with Saya Ida, we normally would see her team up with Hanan, but unfortunately, Hanan will be teaming with Mayu Iwatani. Last time Mayu teamed up with Koguma, I don't think they did pretty well, but we'll see how this team, Hanan and Mayu, will be. However, Hanako and Saya, they are very, they're both strength wrestlers. I mean, Hanako may be the tallest individual, but Saya, for her size, she has definitely power. She kind of reminds me a little bit of El Lindaman from Glee, the member of Strong Hearts. But she did put up the power. But unfortunately, their opponents are none other than Moonlight Fantasies members of Club Venus, Waka Tsukiyama, and Mina. So, of course, the factor of this match is Hanako due to the fact that she's inexperienced. Of course, they were going to target her, but it was Mina who, in fact, did the implant DDT on her. 1, 2, 3, gaining her first 2 points. So I have to say, Mina will try to make up for last year. If you guys remember, Mina Shirakawa was injured last year in November. Last year, in November, due to the fact that she from the injury, and Waka had to step up with her, teaming with Saki. So basically, now we're seeing her. Do I think they would win Tag League? I don't know. That's going to be a long while, but we'll see how that works out. However, the point is, Maximum Mini leaves with 0 points, but as for Moonlight Venus, they walk out with 2 points. But we're still in the early stages of the tournament. Now we jump into the next block. Next block, Blue Goddesses. We have Lady C and Ami Suri versus Divine Kingdom, Megan Bane, and Micah. Now, originally, Ami Suri was supposed to normally would teams up with Mirai, known as the New Eras, but of course, Mirai is teaming with Mai Sakurai. But however, was supposed to team up with Ami Suri, but due to the unfortunate circumstances with her team, Natsupoi is being asked to take some time off due to some cervical hernia that she needs to recover from. So they put her with Lady C. Very interesting pairing. I, I'm normally with Lady C. She teams up with, last time she teamed up with anybody. I think last year she teamed up with Mai Sakurai, but that match ended in disaster. So we'll see how this will team up with her. But however, Megan Bane and Micah, Divine Kingdom, you probably can guess this was going to be an unstoppable team. However, I do see that one of this team as potential winners. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the Divine Kingdom would make sense. I mean, you look at Megan Bane with a Greek-looking getup, and of course, Micah with an Imperial Japanese getup. So it makes sense why they call themselves the Divine Kingdom. But I figured this match was definitely going to go with them when Megan Bane applied the F5 on Lady C. So that's kind of like what I figured it was going to be like. But they are one team that I am going to be paying attention the most, like maybe throughout the entire tournament. There are still another team I am going to pay attention, and we'll get to that in a bit. Now we jump back to the Red Goddesses. We have Oedo Tai members Momo Watanabe and Natsuko Tora. They take on members of God's Eye, consistent of Saki Kashima and Suri. Now, for the record, I want to say this: Saki Kashima and Suri are definitely my number one pick of Tag League. If you guys probably ask me why, if you're new to the channel and don't know the story, I'll explain it in very quickly as possible right now. Last year was a very fun time because during the 5-star Grand Prix, Saki Kashima was afraid of Suri to be in a one-on-one match because she was afraid that she would kill her. And then the same thing happened to her. And basically, she did beat her, but apparently Suri got her revenge match against her when Suri was still the Red Belt champion, but it did not. But apparently, she was not interested in challenging her for the Red Belt. However, once again, during Tag League, before Saki Kashima was expelled from Oedo Tai, she teamed up with Fukigen Def. Once again, she gets involved with Suri and her tag partner Tomoka Inaba. Eventually, then it kind of like this. But however, ever since Saki Kashima joined God's Eye, I've always thought, let's see how their team up would do. I mean, I feel that Saki Kashima Suri will be the most interesting team because, as you remember, Saki Kashima was afraid of Suri, but now she's like, I think she's learning a lot in her own pace with Suri. So they're like my number one pick. Divine Kingdom is my second pick. So we'll go as we go along on this one. Don't get me wrong, I've always will be a fan of the Cosmic Angels, but I do have my own perspective of how on teams that maybe the possibilities of winning. But don't get me wrong. However, I knew that there was going to be moments with Oedo Tai targeting Saki Kashima due to the fact that they expelled her intentionally a couple of months ago. If you guys remember, it was during a Oedo Tai versus Queen's Quest match, it was Saki Kashima who was dead last, eliminated from the match, and of course expelled from Oedo Tai. But it was later on during a title match. Later, Saki Kashima was saved by Sudi and Ami Sodi, and she joined God's Eye. So that kind of fits in pretty well. But unfortunately, it didn't do well because Momo Watanabe applied a Tiger Suplex on Saki Kashima, sending a message. However, during the post match, when Oedo Tai left, apparently there was a straight up message for Sudi for an opponent for UWF rules. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know exactly what she said, but I'm sure that since Saki Kashima lost the high speed belt, I would be surprised that if somehow Sudi and Kashima win the entire tournament, they probably would win the tag belts, and that would be fun because recently Saki Kashima did take a look at the tag belts during after, of course, Sadio Noi and Natsupoi won their tag match, but we'll see about that. Now, our next match was, oh yeah, hold on, let me go back a little bit. That match between Oedo Tai and Godzai, Godzai walks out with 2 points, while um, Sudi, Godzai, Oedo Tai walks out with 2 points, and of course, God's Eye was 0. But we're, like I said, we are in the early stages of the tournament, so we still got a long way to go. Now, our final match, we jump back to the Blue Goddesses. This is a bit of a stars showdown. We have team number 1, winners of the Goddesses Tag League in 2021, FWC, consistent of Koguma and Azuki. They take on the other members of Stars, Hanan and Mayu Iwatani. Now, if you guys don't remember, FWC were the winners of the Goddesses of Stardom Tag League in 2021. They were the fan favorite to win because because of their history. If you guys remember the history with Koguma and Azuki, they knew each other during their times when they were in their dojo days, even when they were that young. But they kind of started up a bit of a rivalry, but they became really good friends. Even when Azuki came back, it was, of course, Koguma who requested Mayu if it was okay for her to join. And of course, Mayu accepted it, even though it was no secret that Azuki used to be a member of Oedo Tai. So I thought it was very interesting. But Azuki has come back even stronger than she was before. There were many moments, many fans have often talked about she deserves a big singles run. But I wouldn't be surprised seeing her with Koguma, since they are good friends and they're from the same area, Fukuoka. So that would make sense. But however, how would this play out in the Star Showdown? I mean, I can say this: FWC, they have the most experience as a tag team. Mayu and Hanan, well, they have teamed up once in a while whenever they get a chance, because Mayu does consider Hanan as the future leader of Stardom, of Stars. But it was, of course, the diving body press on Hanan to pick up the win. I mean, Hanan is a strong wrestler, don't get me wrong. She has improved a lot, but she was nowhere in the same experience with the others. But she is growing a lot. So, but it was Koguma who picked up the win for her team, so she gets 2 points, while the other members of Stars, Mayu and Hana, get 0. So, like I said, this is only the early stages of Tag League. We'll see what happens the next time, but I think that's pretty much it for what we have. So let's move on with our last and final thing, and that would be some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So we're gonna have 3 updates for everybody what's been going on. The first one, we want to give a congratulations with AAA star Lady Shani on her marriage. This was announced on Lucha Libre Online, and of course, one of Shani's closest friends, Pagano, who congratulated. So they're very good friends. Wish nothing for the best for Lady Shani and her new husband. Uh, Dark Puriso Fusion has put out this little statement that was made by the Lucha Brothers. Now, if you guys are a big fan of the Lucha Brothers, you know they have like a bit of a promotion they started together called Republic of Lucha. Apparently, certain people had a problem with the bookings of wrestlers that, of course, the Lucha Brothers actually hire. Now, I have to say the Lucha Brothers, they are standing for what they believe in. I was a bit of surprise, but they actually. Let me explain. This is what we do know. This is what happened. If you have any problems with people from the LBTJQ community, if you go to wrestling shows and shout out racial puns or insults at wrestlers, if trans make you feel insecure, we want none of your business or money. So this was a statement from last year from them during a Facebook page. It just showed, So what does this say right here? I think it feels like who cares about that? I mean, yes, we do see wrestlers who are either gay or they're trans. We've seen that all the time. I mean, if you look in AEW, Anthony Bowens is gay. Does it bother us? No, at least he's a real fantastic wrestler and he's really fun to enjoy. I mean, who could forget that moment with Harley Cameron where she was saying that she thinks that he's into her, and everybody he goes, I am gay, and of course everybody shout out that he's gay. So I think for the Lucha Bros, who cares as long as they are wrestlers and they can throw in a good performance, it doesn't matter. So I have to say I did not know this is a side of them, but it shows a lot of appreciations that wrestling is for everyone, not just certain people. That's the thing. So good job, guys. Now, those who remember or not, there was a business strategy presentation that was made by Stardom in New Japan recently. I did not pay attention to the whole lot, but we do know there has been talks about expanding the product to Thailand and Singapore. Now, there's this thing called HD subs. Now, if you guys are unfamiliarized with that, HD subs are known to translate certain clips onto either their Twitter page or YouTube. Amongst this was Natsupoi. Now, those who know, you probably say, wait a minute, J-Rod, isn't Natsupoi out on injury for a while? Yeah, eventually, yes, but there was a reason why she was there. Don't know what's the extended time of her injuries that she's right now trying to recover. Apparently, it was decided that they want Natsupoi to become the ambassador for the Bushiroad Expo in Thailand. And of course, this is a huge opportunity for her. But due to the fact that she cannot wrestle, due to that she needs rest, she decided, I'd rather sing since I'm not going to be wrestling. But of course, they told her you can do that, no problem. I know some of you are probably saying, wait a minute, is Natsupoi a wrestler? Yes, she is a wrestler, but before she even became a wrestler, she was also a singer. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that. I mean, probably you're saying, you probably ask yourself, that's the reason she did that album with Tam Nakano, where they did some of their male tier songs. Yes, both of them are singers. I mean, if you guys know Tam's history, she used to be part of an underground idol group. Natsupoi, not so much about her, but they knew each other from their Actress Girls days, which would make sense, because they take wrestlers who are either actors or singers and they turn them into wrestlers. So that's always been the case right there. So seeing her being the ambassador for the Bushiroad Expo in Thailand, that's going to be interesting. Not sure if they will be throwing matches in Thailand. If they do, definitely would love to see it. So I think that's pretty much it for our news updates at this point. So if you guys haven't, I'll try to put the HD subs with the Natsupoi on the bottom of the description below, and you guys take a look at it. We'll see from there. I think that's pretty much it for our news update, so I believe it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. Now, I'm a little behind on the Wrestling Revolver shows. I haven't seen Revolver Redemption yet. They just recently released a brand new show, another show from them called Tales of the Ring. I'm thinking about making right now the Wrestling Revolver shows a priority. I haven't seen New Japan Royal Quest 3 yet, so there's still some I haven't checked out yet. So I'm gonna try to wing it for the Monday episode, which is gonna be the 16th. So we'll see what happens until then. So I'm just gonna wing it from here on out. What we're gonna do, um, but we'll see what happens. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.